So Dana White has just announced the undercard fights for Canelo vs. Crawford. So starting with the prelims, which will be free on YouTube, the headliner is Sergey Bohachuk vs. Brandon Adams 2. Bohachuk, very solid contender at 154, but he did lose to Adams in the first fight. Then Ivan Ditchko vs. Jermaine Franklin at heavyweight. And Ditchko, he's 15-0 with 14 KOs. Next, Reito Sutsumi vs. Javier Martinez. And Sutsumi, he's a solid undefeated prospect. Then Sultan Al Muhammad vs. Martin Caraballo. And Steven Nelson vs. Raiko Santana. And then to open up the prelims, Olympic silver medalist Marco Verde, he's going to have an opponent that's still yet to be announced. And then this is the main card order. Of course, Canelo vs. Crawford, that's the main event. But the co-main event, it's going to be Callum Walsh vs. Fernando Vargas Jr. now. Personally, I thought it would be Mbili versus Martinez. You know, two top contenders at 168. Potentially the next opponent for the Canelo Crawford winner. But instead, Walsh and Vargas get that spot. And then after these two fights, the opener is Muhammad Alakel versus John Ornelas. And Alakel, he's a Saudi prospect that Turkey's heavily pushing. Overall, for the biggest event of the year, it's an alright card. You know, I was expecting a little bit more, but there are two underrated fights. Mbili versus Martinez, and Bohachuk versus Adams too.